Ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
How can sustained nutrition make a difference for your cow herd? We'll have some insight. Plus, we'll meet an Environmental Stewardship Award winner in Kentucky.
And now, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. Leading our news this week, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association is continuing to monitor regulatory and legislative challenges to the use of antibiotics in the livestock industry. The concern is that regulations based on misinformation rather than science could reduce or even eliminate the availability of antibiotics for use in cattle and other livestock operations. We learn more about this ongoing issue from NCBA's Executive Director of Legislative Affairs, Christina Butts.
Over the next few weeks, you're going to have a series of reports coming out from our federal government talking about antibiotics and antibiotic resistance. To be fair, they are going to talk about all users of antibiotics, humans, companion animals, as well as the livestock food animals. But at the same time, we're a little bit concerned about how balanced that conversation is going to be. Maybe not even from the reports, but also from the media's perspective, because this tends to be a very hot topic and popular topic in the media. So one thing that NCBA has continued to do in Washington over the last year is bring producers and experts to Washington to help educate members of Congress, their staff, as well as regulators about what we do in the beef industry. What programs are, like the Beef Quality Assurance Program. There's going to be a lot of interest on antibiotics. We already have members of Congress sending letters saying that we need to do more and be heavily regulated by the FDA. We think a lot of these members of Congress don't realize the stringent regulations that are already in place for animal agriculture and production, and we're going to continue to make sure that our voices are heard in Washington and that we continue to bring producers to DC to talk about these important topics.
Butts says NCBA will continue to monitor this issue and vigorously defend the access to and judicious use of antibiotics in caring for animals. When it comes to tackling critical issues facing the cattle industry, Denver was the place to be early last month. The annual Cattle Industry Summer Conference was held amid a spirit of optimism about cattle prices and beef demand, but caution regarding government regulation and key policy issues. We learned more about the early August gathering in Denver from Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Russell Nemitz.
Hundreds of cattle producers came together in Denver for the Cattle Industry Summer Conference. The purpose of the meeting is to create a framework for checkoff and policy efforts on behalf of U.S. cattle producers for the 2015 fiscal year.
This is our annual business planning meeting of the year where we bring cattlemen and women from across the country to really provide that final level of input that we then bring into our final programs and strategies for the next fiscal year.
This is our main policy session. We have committees meeting on all of our issues. They are going through resolutions. They are looking at resolutions passed as an interim policy at the convention in February and adopting and working on them. So this is our business, really a business session where we deal with our policy as we go forward.
Summer Conference is our true business meeting. So everybody who turns up here is helping us shape the policy that we as a staff will then take to Washington, D.C. and implement on Capitol Hill. So it's important that we have as many members show up as possible so we can debate all of these particular policies, make sure that we have the best policy available for our industry, and that way that gives us a great game plan to take back to Washington.
Along with reviewing and updating current policy positions, NCBA members networked and analyzed the overall state of the beef cattle industry in committee meetings and in discussions with top government representatives, trade officials, and other leaders.
As cattlemen, as agriculturalists, we're kind of in the minority in this country now, and so it's important that we have unity. I feel like I've always felt very important about that. We're going to have differences. You put two cattlemen in one room, there's one going to have a different opinion, but we can work those differences out. And some of the issues and the problems that are affecting our industry now, if we have good unity across the country, we can take care of those. We can resolve a lot of those problems.
A lot of pretty important topics discussed here at Summer Conference. Probably one of the biggest ones is our continued effort on the Waters of the United States proposal by EPA. We're also having a lot of discussions about disaster assistance, making sure that all of our producers understand that the USDA programs are being rolled out, and for those folks who have been hit by disasters the past several years, it's time to get out and make sure that you get signed up. So we've had a great opportunity to really learn the details of those particular programs. We're also talking about mandatory price reporting and how important that program is to make sure that we have true price discovery within our industry, and also to work on some potential changes to that program as we look at reauthorization in 2015.
The overall state of the cattle market had everyone at the summer conference in a positive state of mind, and all segments of the beef industry are looking forward to a productive 2015.
Overall, we've had a really good week in Denver. The sense of optimism about the future of this industry has been as high as I've seen it in the last 5 years I've been here.
I think the energy level is pretty high. We've got some good markets. Most of the country, with a few exceptions, have had good weather and got good forage production going on. So people are feeling pretty good.
Reporting from the Cattle Industry Summer Conference in Denver, Colorado, I'm Russell Nemitz for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
To keep up on issues of concern to all cattlemen and women, why not join NCBA? It's easy to do, and there are valuable incentives and special member-only discounts. You can find out more by calling 1-866-USA-BEEF or visiting the website beefusa.org. Of course, whenever a few hundred cattlemen and women get together, one topic sure to come up is the weather. And for once, the news was mostly good on that score, as we asked producers for a weather update as they headed towards the end of the summer of 2014.
We're generally dry. Any problems that you've heard about California being in drought, we're in the same drought because we don't get if California doesn't get rain, Nevada doesn't get rain. But in eastern Nevada, we've had a lot of monsoonal flow. So we've had some spotty rain in that area, but we had a terribly dry winter.
This summer has been wonderful compared to the past several summers, and so we still had a list of cows to get rid of right up through Mother's Day, and then we did start getting some rains, and we had great rains through May and June. Been a little dry here in July.
We have green grass at the end of July, and anytime that happens, it's a very good year. We're cutting grass, hay on the ranch. We haven't done that in at least 15 years. So it's been a very, very good year for us, especially relative to some of the drought years we've just experienced. These are good times.
I would say perfect. We've got just the right amount of rain. It's on the cool side, which is good for pastures and good for hay. Maybe not so good for corn, but the corn looks great, and we're really it's really as good as I've ever seen it for everything.
It's been perfect in Illinois. There's a reason corn's $3 and something. It's because we're going to raise a ton of it. Best growing season in my memory.
Oh, it's been great. We've had lots of rain. I think the month of July at our place we've had about 15 inches. Got grass running out our ears just about.
Our prayers are with those who are still facing drought in California and much of the West. But it sure is good to hear about some green pastures in other parts of the country as well. Still ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Randy basically fed his cows on Superlick for about a quarter head a day at that time period. I would challenge a producer to feed that cheap.
We'll talk about the value of sustained nutrition in your cow herd. Plus, we'll head to Kentucky to meet an Environmental Stewardship Award winner. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman on RFD TV.
To truck guys, the truck is everything. And when you put them in charge of making an unbeatable truck, good things happen. This is the Ram 1500, the 2014 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. And first ever back-to-back winner. Guts, glory, Ram.
Your herd, your business, your family. You've always protected what matters most, so you know how important vaccinations are for healthy cattle. And with Vista vaccines from Merck Animal Health, you know you're covered. No other vaccine works like Vista. Only Vista gives you complete dual-action pneumonia protection and complete one-dose fetal protection for the entire pregnancy. Protect what matters most. Talk to your veterinarian or animal health supplier about Vista.
To stay up to date on beef industry news and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, check out beefusa.org. You'll find news on both the Federation of State Beef Councils and the work of NCBA on Capitol Hill. Plus, link to NCBA programs like the blog, Beltway Beef, updates on the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, and the latest from NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Connect today at beefusa.org.
We're here with two of our Regional Environmental Stewardship Award winners for 2014. Let's begin by introducing yourself to our audience.
I'm Guido Frazzini from True Grass Farms in Valley Forge, California.
I'm Lyle Perman, Rock Hills Ranch, Lowry, South Dakota.
You join an elite rank of people winning the Environmental Stewardship Award at the regional level. What does it mean to you, Guido?
It shows me, it gives me confidence that the new generation coming on to ranches has the possibility to continue this legacy and to improve the legacy in the way we manage our resources, and that it's possible to have environmental stewardship, economy, and ecology as complementary assets in a business model moving forward, and that we can love what we eat. It's important.
How would you respond to that? What does it mean to you and your family?
Well, for us, it's not really about receiving the award for our ranch, but it's really about elevating the cause and elevating environmental stewardship. And we're just thankful that NCBA is willing to do that and put the environment on the front burner. And so for us, we want to thank the organization for doing it. And again, it's about improving the environment and how we can do that, how we can display that on our ranch.
I'm interested to know, what have you learned in this process? You've both done some amazing things in your operation to preserve and protect the environment. Let's start with you.
What we've learned is there's a lot we don't know. And we found that the more we learn, the more we discover. And I would say the other thing is the importance of spreading the story. And we thoroughly enjoy telling others about what we're doing on our ranch, how it's improving our ecosystem, and how a healthy ecosystem makes for happy people.
Absolutely. And Guido, you're relatively new to ranching. What have you learned in this process?
That it's as simple as sitting down and observing what nature has been doing for the last millions of years. And all we do as stewards and try to mimic that process.
What would you like consumers to know about what you're doing? You live in the Bay Area. You're around a lot of people who wonder about what you all as ranchers are doing to the environment. What would the message to them be?
Ask the right questions. Ask your farmer, ask your supermarket, your retailer, where does the food come from? How is it produced? I would say that is as simple as it gets.
And let's think about other ranchers. I mean, if you're ranchers watching this show, what would you want them to know about what you've done and what they can do in their own operations?
Well, first of all, everything we do in our operation we're proud of and we're happy to show others, whether it be a consumer of our product or another rancher. And so we'd encourage the ranchers that are watching this show to ask themselves, every practice they use, are they proud of how they do that, how they're protecting the environment, and are they proud of the food that they produce?
Well, you both are outstanding examples of what farmers and ranchers are doing across this country to preserve and protect the natural resources the good Lord has given us. Thank you so much for what you've done, and good luck as we compete for the national award this next winter. We'll be back right after this.
New Holland equipment is built smart for the way you farm, and the New Holland Big Baler is smart for the way you make big square bales. The new Big Baler Series large square balers from New Holland use the latest technologies to deliver dense, uniform bales in every crop at high speed. Wide maxi sweep pickups grab hay or straw in the toughest windrows, feeding it into the bale chamber, where the New Holland Density Management System makes each bale to your exact specifications. Operators can also choose from a variety of crop cutter systems to cut crop just the way you need it to maximize feed utilization and mixing times. And if you're looking for precision, ask your New Holland dealer about options to monitor and control weight, moisture, and RFID bale identification. Any way you look at it, the New Holland Big Baler is smarter and faster to get the job done right the first time. Visit your New Holland dealer to learn more about the complete lineup of New Holland equipment, in addition to all of the benefits available to cattle producers.
Back on those Texas plains. Join us, Riders in the Sky, for sizzling hot San Antonio.
It's the 2015 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show.
So grab the family and head to Texas for the latest cattle industry information and education, plus some fun and entertainment with us.
It's an event you won't want to miss. Join us in San Antonio, Texas, February 4th through February 7th. There's plenty more information at beefusa.org.
And we'll be back on those Texas plains. See you there, Saddle Pals. Yeah.
Welcome back. Just a few minutes ago, we visited with two of the regional winners of this year's Environmental Stewardship Award. In fact, each year, 7 farms and ranches from around the nation are honored with the award given by the National Cattlemen's Foundation and National Cattlemen's Beef Association and sponsored by Dow AgriSciences. Over the next several weeks, we'll introduce you to these regional award winners one by one, and we'll see how they are working every day to care for and improve their land. We begin with the Region 1 winner. Let's head to Sherwood Acres Farm in northern Kentucky.
In the hills of northern Kentucky, not far from the Ohio River in the city of Louisville, Sherwood Acres Farm is a family operation that finishes belted Galloway cattle. John Bednarski and his wife Sylvia had careers outside of agriculture, but decided to start a farm and produce beef.
We started with belted Galloway cattle in 2003. It was a Father's Day gift from my wife and kids. I grew up in Vermont and had an uncle who had a dairy farm, and so I had a little bit of farming experience, but I was intrigued by the breed because they came into the U.S. back in the 50s in the Northeast, so I was familiar with them and wanted to start a beef breed.
Originally, we thought it was going to be 3 cattle, 3 heifers, and we thought it would be John's hobby, and it's become more than a hobby for him.
Now, each day, John cares for his cattle, finishing them on a mixture of 90% grass and 10% grain. The resulting Sherwood Acres beef is direct marketed to consumers.
Kentucky Proud in our state is a big initiative that adds credibility to our product. And so when we go to a farmer's market, people see a viable product that is a safe product that's available to them. We're also in a chain of 4 stores in metropolitan Louisville. We're in several restaurants, and we also have a retail store in our own community. Back in 2006, we decided that we were going to do home delivery as a service to our customers. And so we bought a kind of a boxy sedan that looked like a belted Galloway, and we painted it like a belted Galloway.
Delivery vehicle, I call it the cow car. We do quite a bit of driving with it, and I have put about 155 or 156,000 delivery miles on it, and it's a recognizable kind of a billboard for us.
That's the unique thing about our operation, is that we actually go from pasture to plate. And to talk with consumers right up front and see what their concerns are, and then have them come out to the farm on top of that is just really rewarding.
The effort John puts into raising and marketing high-quality beef is matched by his commitment to improving the land. Sherwood Acres Farm is compact with a total of 150 acres. And though the land looks picture perfect now, when John and his family arrived, it was not in good condition.
We've done nearly every conservation practice that's available. That's been kind of one of my goals, not only from an educational standpoint, since I'm a beginning farmer, to learn how to do these things correctly, but also to improve the ground and make the habitat for the animals and also wildlife better on our farm.
John and Sylvia have installed a pond, improved their forage base, implemented a rotational grazing system, and worked hard to protect Harrods Creek. They've built stabilized stream crossings and participated in the Conservation Reserve Program to plant trees in lowland areas near the creek.
So they fenced off the creek, moved the fence away from the creek, and allowed a buffer to establish between that corridor. Where they have to cross the creek at, they put in stream crossings to keep sediment down and muddiness and stabilize the bank.
The things that they have done, like the stream crossing, the tree plantings, they've just cleaned up the farm and established what I consider healthy vegetation to protect the creek.
To reduce mud and erosion, John has installed heavy use areas at gates and as winter feeding pads for their cattle.
And in those conditions, they're going to be happier, they're going to eat more, and it's about gains per day for us. And so those feed pads, those winter feeding areas really pay dividends.
Always willing to host visitors to the farm, John has become a leader in the beef industry, serving a term as national president of the U.S. Belted Galloway breed. In that role, he and Sylvia visited nearly all 50 states to talk with members and share their story of stewardship.
So as we would travel the country, we would take literature, show pictures of things that we've done on our farm because we're proud of them. They're good practices, they pay dividends, they're great for the environment, and we just want to help people learn about them and participate.
Everywhere you look on Sherwood Acres Farm, the water is protected, the grass is growing, and the Belted Galloways are thriving. The willingness to tackle whatever project will improve their farm is helping the Bednarski family build a legacy on the land.
I'm very proud of the work he does, protecting the water. Every time we go down below where it's been flooding so much, we think of a new project to do. And I'm just proud of everything he does, not just with the water, but with everything that he dreams and does.
There's always something out there that we can improve, and that's the interesting thing about farming. It's never over. There's always something that we can make better, and it's a goal of ours to keep working on that.
To find out more about the Environmental Stewardship Award, just visit the website environmentalstewardship.org. Still ahead, we'll hear from our good friend Baxter Black. And coming next, we'll travel to South Carolina to learn about the value of sustained nutrition in your cow herd. Stay with us.
This isn't a job, it's a calling. Your hard work helps feed the world. Being linked to those who care for the land is our calling. For more than 175 years, John Deere has been a proud partner of the cattle business. That's why we bring you special NCBA member discounts, so you can get the right equipment, strong, rugged, versatile, and ready to work hard. Talk to your John Deere dealer to learn more about your NCBA member discounts. John Deere, committed to the land, committed to your success.
Sheila Carges. This is my husband Brock. We have two girls, Karina and Jessica. Both girls can pull cattle, doctor, process anything that we need them to do.
Using products that help keep the calves healthy, it helps my parents to be less stressful, it helps them to be at home more, and it helps pay more bills when you don't have to worry about sick cattle.
I'd say 99% of our cattle are high risk.
We've never seen a response due to a metaphylaxis like we have with the Draxxin. I think Draxxin has a major role in any operation as far as your viability and your long-term outlook.
And how do you quantify having a peace of mind to take a vacation for a week or leave work early to go watch a basketball game. You can't quantify that.
Important safety information for Draxxin. Draxxin has a pre-slaughter withdrawal time of 18 days. Do not use in dairy cattle 20 months of age or older. Effects on reproductive performance, pregnancy, and lactation have not been determined.
Cow-calf producers in all regions of the country have seen widely variable forage supplies over the last year. In some places, hay crops have had too much moisture, and for others, drought conditions limited forage availability and quality in the pasture. So, given that variability, how do you keep your cows in condition year-round? We have some insight as Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter visits South Carolina.
South Carolina is a good place to raise cattle with the potential for year-round grazing. But last year's hay crop was of poor quality, and a dry fall resulted in a lack of winter forage. So for cow-calf producers in the state, there was a clear need to provide sustained nutrition to their cows.
The Super Licks worked really well for us. We saw through the winter, we were short on grass. Went into the winter with very little surplus grass. We had a dry fall here. And the Super Licks, I think, helped maintain the body score on the mama cows, the brood cows. And it saved us on some hay. And it also saved on the forage that we did have that was accessible to the cattle.
They did real well on the blocks. We were a little concerned, or I was, that the body score was going to be off. But as we got them on the accuration block, and you know the grass was there and the block stayed there all the time, the body score came up some. And then when we got ready for breeding season, everything was good to go. The accuration block was there, and the body condition was there, and the breeding went real well.
Following a sustained nutrition program, keeping the Super Licks available year-round, you know, that's going to be their least cost per head per day as far as being able to feed a cow for a year's time period. You know, most of our customers probably average a quarter a day per head per day as far as feeding a cow, when, you know, if they let the cow drop in body condition score, it's going to cost them 3 times that at least for that cow to recover in a 60-day period, and they could have missed their calving window, or, you know, there's numerous things that could happen from that, and that's costing them money if that's their livelihood and the way they're making their money.
In fact, Purina research shows that keeping cows in good body condition year-round is essential for the health of the calf and to allow faster breed back for the cow.
The body condition of the cow is extremely important, and we drive to and work with producers like Randy to have the cows in a 6 condition score, like all these that are behind me are 6s. Fat in the tail head, fat in the brisket, no ribs showing, good muscle, shoulders and hindquarters round across the top of the back. At calving, no less than a 5.5, 1 rib showing when you turn your bull in, your AI, your embryo transfer, and no less than a 5 when you wean.
It does make a difference that you can see, and the big thing is, I keep going back to body score. I think that is one of the big things that you notice right off, is the condition of the cattle. With your Purina products, I have definitely seen better body scores, easier breed back.
With Purina's sustained nutrition approach and intake modifying technology, whether delivered at a lick tank, in a tub, or a block, the cow is able to take advantage of available forage, but at the same time is able to snack eat on the supplement when it's needed.
So they don't camp on the feeder, they'll be out grazing like you see the cattle behind me doing, and they're using the greatest resource that this farmer or rancher has. Our job is to get as much of this grass and hay through the cattle and feed less supplement, not more. And that's what we're able to do. So that's the first thing they see. Then after that, that's when they begin to see the performance factors. We see cows in better body condition through time.
For example, in the last 6 weeks or so, we have had nothing but hot, dry weather here. And the cattle will go by and lick those tanks a little bit and then go on off and graze a little bit, come back, lick those tanks. And I think that that helps keep the nutrition or the plane of nutrition up where it is so that the animal can continue to grow and put on weight and produce a good calf.
We'll have more on the value of sustained nutrition when we come back. Stay with us.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better throughout the whole year.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattleman is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. From Capitol Hill to the far side of cattle country, the National Cattleman provides information NCBA members need. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of the National Cattleman. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
Welcome back. We've been talking about the value of sustained nutrition for your cow herd. Now let's return to South Carolina for more.
Sustained nutrition is being able to provide the cow not only after she calves, but when that calf's in utero, what she needs 24/7, 365. With our IM technology, we offer a sustained nutrition program where when forage is more than adequate, intake is very, very low to zero. When forage begins to decline in quality, so that we have the same nutritional program going to that cow that has the calf in utero or is fixing to calve or then calves, and forage goes down in quality, intake will go up to meet the difference of what that cow needs that the grass or hay can't meet. So it provides a 24/7, 365 access to the right nutritional profile to provide sustained nutrition through time to get what that producer needs, and that's more live calves on the ground coming quicker that weigh more.
Another key factor in keeping cows productive is mineral nutrition. These South Carolina producers believe in the value of providing ready access to mineral nutrition year-round.
The Wind and Rain was the first product that I used, and it has definitely improve the conception rate, and we give a lot of that success in shortening the breeding season to the minerals that we're using.
We have here in South Carolina, we have a good bit of trouble with horn flies. They can get real bad, and through the Wind and Rain tubs and the minerals, we have good control, and the cows, the flies, we don't have a problem. I mean, you can ride by here in the summer when it's good and hot and the cows are out grazing and they're not bunched all up. They're just grazing and happy as they can be.
Whether it's Wind and Rain mineral or a sustained nutrition AccuRation program, behind it all is the value of thorough Purina cattle nutrition research.
You know, to be able to go to a farm and share a recommendation to a cattle producer about a product, a Wind and Rain Storm Mineral or one of the IM Tech products, again, I've got the confidence and know that, again, based on our research and the history we have with those products performing, that it'll work. It just flat out works.
With feeding their products and with the wind and rain and the storm and anything. Our cattle seem to do more of what they're supposed to do. They breed back well, they calve well, they raise some good calves, and it just is, everything's just better. It's just simpler.
Using these technologies and providing sustained nutrition is the name of the game. Randy basically fed his cows on Superlix for about a quarter head a day through that time period. I would challenge a producer to feed that cheap. And it's something that he didn't even have to feed every day. I mean, this is something you leave out and the cows access, and at a quarter of a head a day, that's about what we were able to do. There's a significant return on investment of that because of the pregnancy rates and because of the increased weaning weights, because we get more calves on the ground quicker because the cows are bred quicker. So, yeah, it pays back.
And payback on the investment a producer makes in caring for his cows is what counts when it comes to growing a successful cow-calf operation. Reporting from South Carolina, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about how to implement a sustained nutrition strategy for your cattle and about any of Purina's products, just visit the website cattlenutrition.com. Still ahead, we'll hear from the cowboy poet Baxter Black. Stay with us. There's more of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman right after this.
The Case IH Summer Sales Event is going on now, meaning you can turn the heat into red hot savings. That's because all Farmall and Maxim Series tractors, along with our complete line of hay tools, are available with 0% financing for 60 months. But hurry, because while the Summer Sales Event is just warming up, it only lasts until September 30th, 2014. For more information, visit your local Case IH dealer or go to caseih.com/special offers.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right, where it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots. When you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real, feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
Welcome back. One of the most valuable services provided by the National Cattlemen's Beef Association is the area of producer education. NCBA programs work to help cattlemen sharpen their skills and become better at what they do. Joining us now to talk more about producer education is Josh White with NCBA. Josh, first of all, welcome to Colorado and NCBA. I know you're not new to the beef industry, but tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure, Kevin. Well, I'm a Georgia boy. Folks will recognize the different accent right away, I'm sure, but grew up with cattle, a fourth generation cattleman. I bought my first heifer out of my grandfather's estate way back in '86. So wow. I've been chasing cows around middle Georgia for a long time and involved in a lot of organizations, including local and state cattlemen's organizations, breed associations from a young age. And it kind of became obvious to our family in a family business setting that my passion was truly in the cattle industry. And so a little over 5 years ago, accepted what I would consider a call to go work full-time in the industry, leading Georgia Cattlemen's Association and Georgia Beef Board as their executive. And so been out in Colorado a few weeks now, so really looking forward to making a bigger impact for the industry across the country.
Well, tell us a little bit about producer education and maybe some of the resources that are available to cattlemen and women.
Sure. Well, producer education has a rich history in two key program areas. One would be Cattlemen's College, that the real key to Cattlemen's College is at Cattle Industry Convention every year. So we put on a great program there. Another key area is as a contractor to the beef checkoff with the Beef Quality Assurance Program, BQA. So those are the sort of the cornerstones of producer ed at NCBA, and we have a lot of assets online and a lot of different things we can offer currently down to the state affiliates or industry partners. You know, we're available to consult on a state Cattlemen's College. We have some new staff members coming on board. Chase DeCoit's a new Beef Quality Assurance Coordinator. Dr. John Patterson has been on board as a PhD that can come and speak at events, and he has a great knack for educating cattlemen, and he's a great writer as well. So we offer a lot of different services and looking to expand on some of those.
Josh, you mentioned BQA a bit earlier. For folks at home that may not be as familiar with BQA, tell us what it is and how folks can get involved.
Sure. Well, Beef Quality Assurance is really a comprehensive program for producers, educational. I mean, it covers everything from nutrition to low stress handling, vaccinations. Really a good way to go back, even if you're a cattleman that's been around forever, and just sort of check yourself against what a lot of experts have established as great management practices and standard operating procedures for different aspects. And that's available through your state. Most states have a BQA coordinator, whether it's through Extension or your local affiliate there, your Cattlemen's Association or Beef Council. So you can get plugged in and do a in-person training live. Or if that's not something that you can get done, then there's also online training available through our national program with BQA. And right now it's pretty exciting because Beringer Ingelheim has partnered once again with the Checkoff BQA program to sponsor online training. So no excuses right now. It's free. Just take a little of your time to go online. You can go to bqa.org/team and find the right links to click to get that free training.
That's great. I know you and your team are also actively involved in planning for this year's Cattlemen's College in San Antonio. Can you give us any highlights or preview of that?
Sure, a little bit. They'll let me let a little bit of the cat out of the bag here. Well, Dr. Patterson, as I mentioned before, is a great asset to our team and producer education, and he has done a great job organizing and coordinating. There'll be several different tracks that producers can select from. Some of them will be geared more toward younger producers, maybe a little bit more of a family and you know, how do I get started aspect to it. Some will be more real production driven, some more on the economic side. You know, we've had a great year in the cattle industry, so we've got one of the topics is you know, how do I take advantage of this and not give all of my profits back maybe to the IRS or just manage that correctly, save up for a rainy day and manage those assets correctly. Another exciting thing is, so Cattlemen's College starts off actually on Tuesday, a little ahead of the big rollout on Wednesday. There's a Tuesday afternoon live cattle evaluation project on cull cows, and there'll also be some carcass evaluation tied into that. I'm really excited about that because that's about as hands-on as you get. Maybe evaluate what these cattle look like live and in various body condition scores, and then what that means to the packer.
That's good. Hey, real quickly, one last question. What's your vision long-term for producer education, Josh?
Wow, there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of excitement. NCBA's current Vice President, Tracy Bruner, is heading up a grassroots strategic planning effort that we'll be working with him on to execute, because we want to make sure that as we're investing these valuable producer dollars that we're putting our efforts in the areas that yield the most impact and that producers really want to see. So a little bit wait to be seen, but these two big highlights we've covered definitely will stay in the mix.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for coming, and again, welcome to NCBA in Colorado.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back with more of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman right after this. Stay with us.
Both here, 210.11. I'm at 210.11.
Yes! Joe, Todd, how'd you do? Oh, not bad.
See what you have to gain at thelongrangelook.com.
I'm an NCBA member because
NCBA, they look at the facts, they look at the history, and they look what's good for the industry.
It's important to be NCBA members just because of what NCBA does. They keep us informed about a lot of things that are going on nationwide.
The reason we're an NCBA member is we think that it's the best voice that the cattle people have.
Join NCBA today. Head to beefusa.org or call 866-USA-BEEF.
So what do you care if your cattle are source and age verified? Better yet, do you think the housewife cares? Well, 70% of consumers surveyed want to know where their food comes from. So where do you start? With this little green ear tag. IMI Global is the seal of approval that stands behind the beef you've produced. IMI is engaged in source and age verification from the cowman to the kitchen table. So if you're ready to start, just ask us. IMIGlobal.com.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, the long hauls, the never-ending chores, the unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W, trusted.
Everywhere I go, 10% of the people do 90% of the work. And they get to do it for nothing. And that's not the only perk. They're asked to donate to causes, contribute their cash and their time, to get up early, usually stay late, and always claim they don't mind. They serve on boards and commissions, participate in the potluck, bring snacks for the kindergartners. For hay rides, they furnish the truck. They take their turn on the fair board as deacons or soccer moms, jury duty or Salvation Army, ringing bells and gathering alms. They raise funds for endless projects. The food bank, the FFA, missions in faraway countries, Girl Scouts and the PTA. They call on the shut-ins, fight cancer, or maybe teach others to read. Through Rotary, Lions or Kiwanis, they work to fulfill a need. The 10% you can count on to sign up, to help and belong. Always ready and willing, they make our communities strong. Well, they often don't get the glory or noticed by everyone, but they're easy to find at a party, cleaning up after it's done. Well, what causes man to serve his fellow man? At best, I discern not money, because sometimes the thanks is all they'll earn. And it can't be evolution where only the toughest survive, or lessons learned in a classroom. Compassion, see page 25. But it's there in certain people. Giving satisfies their needs. And you can't find it in a brain scan, but you can see it in their deeds. No physical exam can spot it, and it won't show up on the chart. But if I had to guess what it is, I'd say it comes from the heart. So I'll just admit that we're lucky the 10% are right here, because without them, nothing would happen. And they do it all volunteer. Vol from the Greek meaning work like a horse, and untier meaning without pay. Can I sign you up? This is Baxter Black from out there.
Thanks, Baxter, and to all of you who are part of that 10%. There are many great reasons to become a member of NCBA, and one of them is the chance to read the National Cattleman. It's the official publication of NCBA and provides timely news and articles about the issues and events affecting the beef industry. And there's even an online version which enables you to read the latest issue while you're on the go. A subscription is included free when you become a member of NCBA. And joining is easy. Just give us a call at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit us online at beefusa.org. There's more Cattleman to Cattleman still ahead, so stay with us.
Tough trailers built for tough country. Big Ben Trailers manufactures a different kind of trailer, one that's built to put up with the rough conditions found on the ranch. Rugged build using heavy-gauge powder-coated steel and a 2x4 rectangle tube frame. There's a 1-inch gap between the side and floor, so there's no place for water or manure to accumulate and rust. Big Ben trailers are loaded with standard features: a lever-action hitch, a 3-foot escape gate, and a middle sorting gate, rhino lining along the front edges, and a receiver hitch to tow another trailer, chute, or other equipment. Tough and practical. That's Big Ben Trailers. Designed and built by a working cattleman, you can rely on and trust Big Ben Trailers for their durability and convenient features. Reasonably priced for any rancher to afford. For a list of dealers and other design features, visit BigBenTrailers.com. Big Ben Trailers, built cattlemen tough.
Hello, I'm Kevin Ochsner, host of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Each week, we travel the country to bring you the latest cattle industry news and information. Check us out at cattlemantocattleman.org or on Facebook and Twitter. We always enjoy seeing the beautiful images you share with us from farms and ranches across the country. Now let's return to Sherwood Acres Farm in Kentucky for this week's Legacy Photos. Why not send us a favorite picture of your farm or ranch? It's easy to do. Just visit our website, cattlemantocattleman.org. Be sure to include your ranch or farm name and your hometown. Well, that's our time for this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kevin Ochsner, and we'll see you right back here next week on RFD TV.